Hello guys, this is Mr. Surplus Nut here, bringing my second review after refinishing my AK-47. This is a Romanian WASR 1063. I was talking about in the first part of this video how I was going to end up finishing the stock on this gun, on this weapon. Well, I just finished doing that, and also I was talking about a few problems that when you purchase a Romanian WASR 10 you're going to encounter, most likely, and there's ways of taking care of that. This is a very reliable AK. Some people like to say that they're cheap, they're the bottom end of the AKs, but to be honest with you, to me an AK is an AK, and I don't see why I should go ahead and spend $800 plus to probably end up with the same weapon as a WASR 10 once you know what you're looking for and when you go purchase one. And if you do end up getting one that has the problems that they've been having for a long time, there's ways of fixing that, and you're going to end up with a very nice rifle. Like I was saying, this Romanian AK WASR 10/63, I purchased it at this recent gun show here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I purchased it. I think I paid for it. It was like $4 and a quarter for it, and the guy had like 3 of them there, and I went ahead and went through them, and I did notice that the 3 had canted front sights and magazine wobble, and well, that was pretty much it. When you check one of these out to buy it, you need to look for these things, which I know Century Arms they've done away with the issue that they've been having with the trigger slap since they've been installing the Tapco G2 trigger, and they've really done away with the trigger slap issue on that. Now be aware, even though all AKs WASR 10 might have the G2 Tapco G2 trigger, you might get lucky and find one that it has a lighter trigger pull than other G2 triggers. Like in this one, that's one thing I was checking between this one and the other 3, and this one has a very, very light trigger pull, which I like it a lot. So basically, we can, you know, not even talk about the thing of the trigger, because that's basically a thing of the past with the new Tapco G2 trigger that they're being installed when Century builds these rifles. So the main things to look for will be your magazine wobble, canted front sight, and your bolt cycle. Meaning that when you cycle the bolt, some AKs on the Romanian WASR 10, they're not, when you cycle the bolt, it's not supposed to get hung up in the middle or stay open, even on your last shot when you're shooting it. It should cycle very very nice, very smooth. This one, that's one of the things that I was looking for, and it cycles really nice. And the trigger pull is very light trigger pull. Barely touch it and it goes off. So so these are the things that you gotta look for. Like I'm saying, you don't have to worry about the trigger. It's gonna most likely have a Tapco G2 trigger. So the main thing is your cycle. When you cycle your bolt, making sure it doesn't get hung up, because that can cause cycling problems and getting your case is not ejecting properly, getting stuck, and all that. So once you get one that has, if there's like 3 or 4 there, grab them, cycle the bolt a lot like I just did, and if you see that it runs smooth, cycle it and let it go, and there's no problem. So you already know your bolt, it's working perfect. The other thing will be to check your front sight. That's one of the things that a lot of these have, and it's the canted front sight, which is just basically, it's tilted either to the left or the right, just a little bit. I mean, I've seen some that are really obvious, like you grab them and you can tell right away. Some of them you grab them and I mean, you really have to search for it and look for it. This one is not that bad. This one's like probably like a slight canted. So that will be your first thing to look for. Your bolt, okay, the cycling on the bolt, magazine wobble, which in this case I purchased before I knew I was going to go ahead and purchase this rifle, or before I went out looking to buy an AK. I went ahead and purchased a, I love these, the Bakelite magazines. They're really hard to get. This is actually a Tula. You can see the star right there. It's a Tula Russian Bakelite magazine in really new, brand new shape. I just got it like that. You can get the Tula or the Ishvik. I love the Bakelite because it goes really nice with the wood, especially after you finish it. You try to stain your wood like the same color of your stock, so it complements it really good. I like these better than the metal, and they fit better. The 2 metal magazines that came with this weapon, they do wobble a little bit. I took care of that. I'm going to show you what I did. I did a slight modification to the magazine opening on the bottom of the receiver, and also to the one mag that wobbled. I got two metal magazines. One of them wobbled, the other one did. So out of the 2, one I had an issue that would wobble, had a loose fit, and the other one is there's barely no wobble with it. So I didn't even bother with that one. That one fits pretty good. But as soon as I brought the rifle home, the first thing I did, I went to my drawer, pulled this baby out, and I went ahead and put it in there. Obviously, this tells you the quality of the magazine. This Bakelite magazines, I'm saying, you can go to the internet, it's really hard to find them. Actually at the gun show that I went to, there was a guy there on the table, the only guy that I saw on a table that were selling stuff. He had like about 4 of these, but they were like the 40 round mags, really long. So I like the 30, so otherwise I would have probably ended up buying one, and they were in really good shape. So this is a Tula 30 rounder mag, and as soon as I got home, like I said, I got the mag, put it in there. Dude, that tells you, look at that. You don't hear anything. No wobble at all. If you check out my first video on this AK, the before refinishing video, you can see how I'm doing this on the video, and you can hear it. You can actually hear it in the camera mic, the wobble of the mag. This thing is solid. It doesn't wobble at all. There's got no play. It fits really nice and snug. That tells you the quality of the magazine. Okay. So basically what I did was, I like having this one on. I guess the other 2 I'll just take it when I go to the range and stuff, but like for home defense, whatever, I'll just keep this thing loaded, you know, on it. But basically, my main issue was, like I'm saying, the trigger I didn't care about, because I know it had a G2 trigger. My bolt cycle's great. So my thing was the wobble of the magazine and my canted front sight. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this magazine right now, okay? And I'm gonna tell you what I did on these. Remember, these don't have the dimple like right there on each side, which it keeps the magazine from wobbling. So what I did was, inside I went ahead and you probably won't be able to see it there, but I went ahead and got like 2 pieces of sheet metal, real thin. You just gotta play with it to see what will work, and JB welded it really nice. I mean, you can't see the JB weld or nothing. I just kind of like dabbed it really small where it will hold these 2 little pieces of sheet metal in here, and all it's doing is acting as the dimple once the magazine goes inside. And then what I did on the mag, I did the same thing. You see like this, that's the other side of the magazine. See how there's nothing on there? And then I'm going to show you the other side. I put a little piece of sheet metal there. Glued it. You can't even tell when it's inside the rifle. Okay. See how it's a little thicker there than this side? And that side. Okay, so I put that there. And now it fits without a problem. No magazine wobble. This was the same magazine that I had in the first video. Check out my first video so you see the difference. And this magazine was like rattling, wobbling like you wouldn't believe. There's no wobble at all now with this magazine. I had an AK, a Romanian, a while back, and I sold it to try to get some money to build that bench rest rifle that I had built, which I also have a video on that. You can check it out. And I went ahead and I sold that AK. I had it really nice. I did a lot of stuff to it. Basically I had the same issue with the wobbling magazine. I did this thing that I just told you to do on this to take care of the wobbling problem. That one didn't have a canted front sight. I was lucky on that, and also the bolt will cycle fine, G2 trigger on it. I mean, the only issue that I had with that AK was that it did have a wobbling magazine. The bolt will cycle fine, front sight was straight, G2 trigger was fine. So, and I ended up refinishing it, refinishing the wood. I put a recoil buffer in the back. I put also a Bakelite grip to match the actual Bakelite magazine, and I put a different type of muzzle brake, and I ended up selling that just because I needed the money for the other project. But since then I've been wanting to get an AK, and I went ahead and just went to this gun show this past weekend and got this one. So basically these are the things that you got to look for, and I'm going to be making a second part to this just to tell you guys how I fixed the canted front sight, and I'm going to show you really close the final outcome of the rifle as far as the wood finishing goes, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. Alright guys, check you out later.